Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about this James Dean controversy that was going all over the internet yesterday. If you haven't heard, there is a movie out there that's being made, and apparently they did an all-out search for a role that I guess the director couldn't find the right actor to be in this movie. So he's saying that, well, they're going to bring James Dean back from the dead to be in this movie, to play this secondary role. And the whole internet was up and in an uproar, and maybe rightfully so. Um, and so when I say this, what I mean is they'll probably use the CGI technology, that the same technology that they used to bring General Tarkin back to life in Rogue One. If you've seen Rogue One, a Star Wars story, they brought Peter Cushing, who played Tarkin in the original Star Wars movie from 1977, back to life in this movie. They got an actor to do the voice and the performance, motion capture, etc. But it was to help with the continuity of the original film and Rogue One, because Rogue One ties right into the original Star Wars film, like literally seconds right after the original film starts. With this technology, I actually support the idea to an extent. I really do like this idea of technology that can make it look like an actor is back and in a new movie, because that was one of the really cool aspects about Rogue One for me. But I can understand the frustration from actors on the other side as well, and other people that are not agreeing to this on one level. And let me explain it. Uh, I feel when a role is original, or based off a novel or based off a comic, I think you should always allow a new actor to take that and make it their own. I don't think you should. It's necessary to bring an actor back from the grave to, not literally, but figuratively, to bring an actor back from the grave to play a role just to try to capture an audience who probably won't even remember or know about James Dean, right? That will probably get like the grandparents or parents of people. Like my mom and dad will probably be like, "Oh, James Dean is back to life. Wow, let's go see this movie. How did they do that?" And then I'll have to explain this motion capture. It's not really him. It's an actor. Anyways, without getting to the technical stuff, um, I always say that, the great thing about comics and novels is that, when they start off there and people read these comics and read these novels, there's always a people always have an idea of what those characters are when they're reading those books. Um, and you could say the same thing about the original takes too, but I'll get to that in a little bit. So I always think it's safe for like comic books and novels, movies based on that stuff should always have actors, up and coming actors playing those roles. Now, when it comes to original films, I always think it's good for people um, to up and coming actors to get those roles as well. I think if it's an original role, if it's an original film with newly developed characters, I think the actor who is assigned to those roles should play those characters. Um, Here's where I think the technology can be useful, though. In the situation of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, I really thought it was great that they brought Peter Cushing back to life by using that technology, with the stand-in actor to provide the voice and the performance, the motion capture performance, because it helped really. When you watch Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and then watch uh, Star Wars New Hope right after, it really does fit nicely, one after the other. I've actually grown to like Rogue One a lot more because of how nicely connected it is to the original film. I think this technology can be great for continuing franchises that, for an example, Indiana Jones. If we ever do want to see more Indiana Jones movies down the line, because it seems like that's where Hollywood is headed, right? where franchises are going to be a big thing. Hollywood should use this technology for franchises where there is an established actor like Harrison Ford who created the character of Indiana Jones, obviously with the help of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. If it wasn't for the writing and the producing teams and the directing, there wouldn't be no character. But it's the actor that really helps craft the character to the personality of who he needs to be. And then you have people saying, well, only Harrison Ford can be Indiana Jones. And they are right, because Harrison Ford created the character. So when you get even Han Solo, if you want to throw Solo into this, I think that could have been a problem with Solo, right? Is that it wasn't Harrison Ford, so nobody really cared. Maybe if you did throw a Harrison Ford in there, or maybe somebody that could have used that technology to make him look like a very young Harrison Ford, I think people would have been a lot more interested in checking the movie out. Another character that pops to mind is Captain Jack Sparrow, from Pirates of the Caribbean. I think if you do continue a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, I think you can't really do it without Jack Sparrow. I think, they're thinking of rebooting it, but I don't think the reboot is going to help. Maybe it will if you happen to come up with new compelling characters that people care about. Maybe you can break away from Captain Jack, but if they don't want to, then yes, you are probably going to need Johnny Depp back, or do a CGI version of Johnny Depp. Now, maybe Johnny Depp's not up to that, and of course that's always going to have to come with the actor, but that's why when you create a new franchise, I think you should always sign the actor on. Do you agree to this agreement that if you get older or if you pass away, can we still use your likeness to continue this franchise without you? I think that should be something that should be considered. Maybe but when it comes to roles that are already established in pre-existing material where people can use your imagination, like I said earlier, comics and novels, I think those are the roles where, unless you think of continuing, like if you want to bring Robert Downey Jr. back, but let's say he's old or he's no longer with us anymore, God forbid, maybe then if the Marvel Cinematic Universe wants to, bring Robert Downey Jr. back with CGI and have another actor play him still, but with the image of Tony Stark to keep that continuity of the MCU, because that's their version of Iron Man. Same thing with Batman or Superman, right? Let's say they want to go back and do the original Superman movie, use Christopher Reeve's likeness, and to bring Superman back. I know Christopher Reeve has been an actor that has been thrown around in this conversation. Same thing with Michael Keaton or any other franchise for that matter. The only time I think this technology should be used is if you go back and make a sequel to, say, The Godfather, where maybe, or a prequel to The Godfather, where Robert De Niro or Marlon Brando even, their likeness needs to be used for the sake of continuity. Because I do think changing the actors once in a while in movies like that, people do get a little frustrated because it does take them out a little bit. Because knowing that, wait a minute, Marlon Brando was the Godfather. Why are we replacing him with someone that looks totally different from him? I'm just using that as an example. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think nobody will ever touch the Godfather. But what I'm saying is, if they ever do want to, the better idea would be to use that technology for that. So I would say, yes, that technology should be supported, but not when it comes to original ideas. I think for this original idea that they're doing, bringing James Dean back does not need to happen. I think they should use an original talent who wants to, act in this movie. And maybe the director is just being a little too difficult on the actors that he's casted. And he has to be. So I don't know, guys. This is a complicated subject that I know a lot of people are really touchy on right now. I think it is technology that I would like to see be used, but see used in franchises to help with the continuity of films. It would be a way to help that if you want. Like, think about it. You could go back and do Ghostbusters films that take place around the time of the first or second movie, making Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd looking young again, or even bringing Harold Ramis back from the dead in a way. I think it would be really cool. But again, it all depends on, first of all, if the person has passed away, it depends on their estate, their family, and how much money they're going to get from this, because family is family. And the actors that are alive, obviously, they can still continue using the de-aging technology that they've already been using. So I think it's great, and I want to get other people's opinions on this. I know a lot of people don't like the idea, but I am somebody that supports it to an extent. I think there needs to be limitations on how or when it should be used, but I do think there is potential for it in the industry of Hollywood. Especially if franchises are going to be a thing of the future. I know Martin Scorsese doesn't like that, but if it is going to happen, there is a way to bring certain actors back to reprise their roles. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video and comment and help the discussion. I know a lot of people have opinions on it, so and not a lot of people love it, but I want to see. So hopefully this finds people that do like the idea of it. And if you didn't, maybe this might put a more positive spin around it, because you'll think, you know what, if they did do it that way, only on franchises to help the continuity with those franchises, to maintain the continuity, then yeah, sure, let's do it. Comment below. I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and until next time. I hope this wasn't too confusing. Until next time, take care.